light and airy, roam through Derry, or to Port of Ferry in the county down. But with all my raking and undertaking, my heart was aching for sweet Omi. My heart was aching for sweet Omi.
Lovely band. Great band.
There's hardly anyone whom I would hold up as a better model for short storytelling than Ben. And I'm talking Chekhov, I'm talking Raymond Carver, I'm talking Hemingway, O'Connor, Kiely.
In the 70s, 80s, Ben's name was mentioned and invoked here the way a name like Hugh McDermott would have been invoked in Edinburgh and Scotland. And it was partly because he was, not only because he was a writer, but because he was a figure about the town and at the centre of much revelry.
There were people gathered at this party who could be described as, you know, not only not friendly towards one another, but in some cases actual foes of many years standing, you know. And when you walk into that room and you see those people smiling benignly at one another and having civilized chat, and this was extraordinary to see. And then one remembered suddenly that there was Ben in the corner, who was the friend of virtually everybody there, and it didn't matter that they were not friends of one another.
It's a strange kind of paradox that you have this man who is actually knows a great number of people and is happy in a great number of different social situations, but he also is a very private person.
There lies the big question of Ben. Who's the real Ben? And there was, I think he has, in kind of Yeatsian term, he had a mask in order to deal with so many annoyances. He wouldn't let them in on him. He wouldn't let them distract him. So the smiling Ben, who was very good company, who would sing a song and who would have another drink, was a very good, was always protecting his own gift. What he was really thinking about the powers that be, he couldn't show. I remember in the White Horse, which is the pub across from the Irish Press, our friend Brendan Behan used to come in. I mean, he was as good as a play. He had all kinds of little acts that make you weep. They were so funny.
And that old triangle.
When he put his shoes on backward and he'd pretend to be Toulouse-Lautrec. And then he was the old woman of the roads with his coat over his head. And then he was gone. He'd suddenly raise himself up and begin sailing around the room. So he was a shape changer. And Ben was very fond of him, and of course they both could sing.
There's a largesse about him, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a pretty sardonic view of the Puritan regime that operated here. It doesn't mean that he forgives everything.
It seems to me that say, John McGahern, Ed O'Brien, Ben Kiely, and others who were banned, they were really, really, really brave writers, because they went on in spite of the fact that they weren't allowed to go on, certainly in this country anyway.